Hi, this is April Madden with Beauty is My Vice. I am an artist. I've always been very creative, free-spirited, I guess you could say. I have an open mind. I'm not closed-minded. And ever since I was a little girl, I guess you could say that I had an overwhelming sense of intuition. I could never quite put my finger on it, but I always had a sense of knowing what was going to happen before it happened, or a sense of seeing through things in a way that I didn't quite understand then, which is why I've always been so open-minded, and I think it's one of the reasons I'm so creative, and I love art, photography, videography, and after all of my research, it just goes to show that I think a lot of us are this way for a reason. We are taught to ignore our senses and our intuition and instead just believe the facts that they have given to us. They have taken advantage of us in every way imaginable, and we have been lied to. Some of us are blessed enough to see through it, although most of us who talk about it are labeled crazy. That's why they came up with the term conspiracy theorist. So when people start coming out with the truth, they can label them a conspiracy theorist, and then everyone will automatically disregard everything they say. But let me tell you, after all of my research, thorough research, almost every conspiracy theory that I've ever looked into is not at all a conspiracy. It is a fact. And they know that, and they don't want you to know that. There is a lot of truth mixed in with fiction, and they do that with everything. They always show us what's actually going on, but they mix it in with deception, so you either figure it's a joke, or they're just being silly, or it's just an over-the-top movie, when in reality, it's actually what's going on. Ever since we were children, we were given a strict guideline on what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, what's true, and what's false. So if we just accidentally catch something that's a little off, they insist that we will just disregard it as if, it's nothing, because that's how they have taught us. They have brainwashed us. And I know that sounds terrible, but we've all been brainwashed entirely from the moment we were born. They didn't give us a chance. They have imprisoned our minds, our bodies, and our souls from the moment we came into this world. As I said before, there's not one thing that they do on accident. Everything has a bigger picture. They plan every moment. They're always 20,000 steps ahead. That way, if you run into something that you're unfamiliar with, you instinctually turn your head. You try to come up with some sort of factual conclusion or reasonable explanation to excuse it away. And if a close friend, family member, co-worker, anyone says they've seen something or something's going on with them that doesn't make sense or fit into, their agenda, you then disregard them or think something's wrong with them, and their plan, once again, has succeeded. So I am not at all a conspiracy theorist, which I think I said before, and I'm not at all into aliens or any of that, but let's just think about this rationally for a minute. So they normally, if they give you a truth, it's a lie, and a lie, a truth, vice versa. So if we've been told all these years that aliens come from space and the sky, if you want to find aliens, look at the sky, right? Try to get a telescope and search the stars and the moons, and everybody's always looking at the sky. Everybody's looking up. All the people who are really interested in these things. So, do you understand what I'm saying? It's the perfect diversion. When they're right in front of your face the entire time. Nobody's looking there. Nobody's looking for them at the market or on the news or a live broadcast or even in movies. This clip in particular is a live news broadcast, and look at what you are seeing. Understand that this is a live news broadcast. Absolutely no manipulation was done to this footage. It is being recorded off of the television in slow motion. Now, because we have been taught not to think with our head or see with our eyes or use our intuition, we just ignore it away. But God created us with all of our senses for a reason. He also gave us intuition, a knowing, insight into things, an understanding within. I think it's really important that we all take a step back and allow ourselves to see. It's really important that we stop making excuses for things that don't make sense. And most importantly, we are told to listen to what others say rather than making decisions and coming to conclusions on our own. And God forbid anything weird or crazy were to happen. For the safety of you and your family and your loved ones, you need to know what's really going on. We're so used to listening to everyone else. Look at what you're seeing and know that it's real. I did not manipulate it. And this is just one thing out of millions that I want to talk to you guys about. But still, it's a perfect example. I know it seems impossible, but a man's head on a bus transformed into a dinosaur head on live news. It's intentional. They are so arrogant and they believe that they're so sly that they've dumbed us down so much that they can do anything and everything right before our very faces and will never even notice. Big mistake. This in particular is a live interview with Jenna Bush, and there are many anomalies, I guess we could call them, that are happening to her face, and only her face. No one else on this news broadcast had these problems. They kept attempting to turn away from her. She's not the only person this happens to. It tends to happen to people who are part of the elite, I guess you could call it. Or I guess you could call them, even though they're not at the top. They're the puppets. But things like this don't normally happen. The entire footage should mess up, but it's only to her face. And it's very strange, because if you're going to do a video analysis, you're going to notice the same thing happens in the same way to each person that this happens to, and it'll happen time and time again. This clip is going all over the internet, but this in particular, the one that I'm using, the man who put it up, actually, here in a moment, you'll see that he mirrors the image so that you can see a clearer picture of what her face would look like, which I find very interesting. But anyway, there are so many different things that we need to talk about. And I'm really interested in talking about more about the truth of our history, what they're hiding, what's really going on. Don't get caught up in the puppet show. And there's absolutely nothing to be afraid of. They want you to be afraid. You are free. When you know the truth, it sets you free. And I'm not just talking about this. This is just the footage I had on hand, and I wanted to go ahead and start a video. And it's interesting to say the very least. But I have so many topics I want to go over with you guys. And I've been dying to start. I just didn't know where to start. Okay, so here's where he mirrors the image. And watch. You can see a clearer photo of what she would look like without what they call the hologram covering whatever's behind her hologram, if you're understanding what I'm saying. That's why I think it's really important that nobody gets caught up in politics or the news. It's a bunch of propaganda to keep you in line and living in fear. Let go. You are free. Whatever they are, they don't like us. The Lord has set us free. I'm not sure exactly who or what they are, but I do know that they don't like us. It's one conclusion I have come to. I would also love to talk about, there's so much. Give me some topics. I want comments and topics. I've also worked a lot on reading the Bible and all the parables in the Bible. It's incredible. Once you truly look into it and the meanings behind it, it explains everything that's happening right before our eyes. So I would love to do a video explaining all of that. If anything, when you go down this rabbit hole of insanity, you learn that all this was prophesied. We know what's happening and what's going to happen. the sad part about it is, because from the moment we're born, we're told what's true is false and what's false is true. So a lot of us go on not understanding how tremendously important that it is to understand the scriptures and to have God in your life, because He will lead you to the truth. The Lord will lead you to the truth every single time. We also have planes, sorry the kids, planes stopping in midair. There's so many insane things happening right now that just can't be explained. The Mandela effect, I really want to go deeper into that. They're creating portals. And with Cern, the things they're doing at Cern, that's in the Bible too. They're changing timelines, I believe, which it says in the Bible as well. I can't wait to talk to you guys about this stuff, and I can't wait to start doing makeup again. I'm feeling so much better. But, you know, it's really important to do some soul searching. And it's one thing to just, you know, go into God's Word, and that's great. But it's another thing to have an open mind so that you can see exactly what is going on in our world today. And once you understand it, it makes everything clear. It puts everything into perspective. You'll know why you're here and what your purpose is, and how incredible this time is. We are tremendously lucky to be here and a part of all of this, because everything is changing so fast. And you are so important. Each and every one of us, God has gifted us to see things, to see through things. And one second, baby. And with the gifts He has blessed us with, we can show others. We can take the scales off of their eyes and show them what's really happening.
Recently, I did a video of Alex Jones having a facial meltdown. It looked like he was having a hard time holding himself together. In the course of that video, I showed a clip from this 1977 backstage. I guess it was a little bit of a ceremony for Elvis. This was Rapid City, South Dakota. Here you see Elvis being presented with a plaque and the medallion of life from a little girl. Her name is easy to find online, but I didn't want to put it out here on this video. It's a little bit weird to have your name associated with this, and she is still alive. And let me just say right up front, I do not believe she is a shapeshifter. Now, let's get into the weirdness. Elvis is about to accept the medallion of life from the little girl. He's going to lean in, give her a kiss. Everything seems pretty normal up until this point. You'll see some pictures here in a moment, but then about here, things get a little strange. So now we're going to go through a series of pictures where you see the little girl have a range of emotions, and then right about here she sees something wrong as he pulls away. What does she see? Well, we're all about to see it for ourselves as he stands up and looks at the camera right here. What's weird is somehow the guy holding the microphone misses this part, but here very soon he's going to notice something that is amiss. I think that'll be right about here, and he looks a little disturbed. After seeing this, he quickly walks away and then acts like nothing ever happened. Look at his face. Yikes. You also see a couple of Elvis's men seeing everything as it happens. One of them steps in front of the camera. The other man goes directly for the eye that was just melting. Here we go again in real time. See Elvis's guy step in front of the camera right here. Then the other guy goes right for the eye. He saw exactly what happened. It's the only way to explain him going right onto the eye. Now you start to see some other weirdness around Elvis's face. Looks like he's getting holes around his eyes. Now, people will tell you, no, those were just dark circles under his eyes. You know, have you ever seen this phenomenon before? And also, look at the shape of his face and head. He looks like a turtle, if not a snake right there. Now, that's important because this is the afternoon of the concert, just a few hours before he goes on stage. We're going to see him on stage here in a little bit, and he's going to look very, very different. In fact, now is this the same guy we just saw? In this next picture coming up, was supposed to be taken at the same time as the other picture. What is going on here? How does this even make sense? Now, as they're leaving, if you look back in the background, you'll see them working on Elvis, which he's going to need a lot of work to look like he did in the one picture, that's for sure. One more time, let's look again. I don't even believe that's the same guy. I just don't see it. He looks entirely different. All the way around. It's supposed to be the same day, the same night, the same moment. Even the little girl looks different. Now here's an article about those videotapes. You see the blurry part right in the middle is because this gentleman could not sell these tapes for profit. Someone got a hold of them years ago. I saw this online, and they put the entire 4.5 hours online. Now, someone has chased it all down, but that's where I first came in contact with this weird video, the one where his face blows up. The thing about the black and white videos is they're from a pure source. They were only handled by that one gentleman for years and years. So they have more of a clean line of ownership. Now, I don't know what happened to put this online or if he had anything to do with it, but someone snuck them out years and years ago and put the whole 4.5 hours on. I watched it. I didn't record it, but I remember seeing this initial video where his head explodes, and I just didn't know what to make of it. And then I went back and it was gone. It disappeared. And now look how much better the quality is of this video suddenly from the one we had seen earlier. There are cleaner and cleaner versions of this floating around, and there is a version of this where none of this happens. Yeah, bothersome. But there, right there in the color, it was still visible. I've had a lot of time since the first time I saw this video to come up with crazy reasons that maybe his face did do this, but it wasn't anything unusual. Maybe he had a mini stroke. Maybe it was a medical condition of some sort. I don't know, but what kind of medication did they give him that made his face structurally that different in that short a period of time? I don't know. And what was the deal with the guy going right for his eye after it looked like it blew out of his head? Like the dude saw it. Also, one other thing while I'm thinking about it, I'm not going to rewind this tape yet again, but before his guy steps in front of the camera, he has his back to the camera and Elvis is talking to him. And then after he blocks the camera shot for a second and Elvis talks to him, the guy turns back around, and it's obvious he's looking to see the camera position, but he's acting like he's looking at something else. I don't know. I would love there to be some easy answers here, because this is infinitely bothersome to me. Right down to the fact that some people seem to notice this transformation, then others don't. And as you continue to look at this, at different moments, he's equally horrendously hideous in each video, but at different times.
Planes just parking in the sky, the usual. But we're just supposed to, pretend like we don't see it, right? Because it's not happening. It's happening. I can only imagine how terrified the people in this plane must have been. You can see their hands shaking as they're trying to record, just suspended in air. And they were never given an explanation. This defies gravity and logic, defies everything that they have taught us once again. And anytime there's a problem like this, we get no answers. Thank God everyone on this plane arrived home safely. Explain this one. You're standing outside of your house in the middle of the road and it's a bird? It's a plane? No, it's a dragon. Seriously. This happened. Let's see what's going on at Cern, shall we?
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. Today is the 11th of August 2016 and I'm going to show you a video that people are easily going to point out as a hoax. Well, let me ask you, how are they hoaxing a video at what appears to be 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning at Cern? They are on the grounds between building 39 and 40 at Cern. And the guy recording this is wearing a cloak. You can catch it right in the reflection. He's wearing a cloak just like the rest of these people. And he's set up with his camera before these people walk out there. And if you pay attention, you'll see over here what appears to be some sort of unseen entities walking out. Notice the guy is wearing a cloak in the reflection. Notice that he is in the building at Cern. These people are on the property. Why am I all excited? Because this is exciting. And instantly people are going to poo-poo through this and say that it is a hoax. Well, how did these people gain access? And why is this guy wearing a cloak? And he absolutely freaks out during this video. And he runs into the building where there is a projection of a collider on the wall. So this stuff is all accurate. You can search it for yourself on Google Earth. Spend a little time researching this. But this is absolutely crazy. It is what appears to be a human sacrifice, or a mock human sacrifice, perhaps in tribute to Bohemian Grove. Who knows? Who knows? But the fact that these people are even going through these motions on the grounds of Cern in Geneva is highly disconcerting. Highly disconcerting. Watch this. And then the guy freaks out. I'm going to play that for you again, but I'll put all the original in. I won't mute it this time. See all the movement over here?
What the fuck? What the? Fuck! Shit! Fuck! Shit!
If this is a hoax, these people still had access to Cern at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And one of them was inside the facility. As you can see, this is a projection of one of the colliders in the buildings at Cern. So if this is a hoax, I'm still interested because we've seen them do the cremation of care, where they kill in effigy. I don't know what to tell you. Richie from Boston, it appears they're doing some sort of satanic ritual at Cern. You can debunk this, please. Show your evidence below. Richie from Boston, I am out.
What the fuck? Fuck! Shit! Fuck! Shit!
Now that we have witnessed the rituals that they do at Cern, the ones that we aren't supposed to see, let's see the ones that they feel it's okay to allow the world to see. Nonetheless, it is still a ritual. And we're not supposed to be concerned why exactly? They're portraying fallen angels whom seem to be opening portals with the Baphomet, chanting, dancing, welcoming their little G god. And there it comes. Look at that. That's exactly what they're doing at Cern. They're opening portals. They're smashing particles, which they call the God particle. The God particle, the veil that separates us from hell on earth. The God particle is the glue that protects us from everything else, that separates our living space from the unliving, so that we can't see certain things or feel certain things or be afraid of certain things. God created everything the way He wanted to for a very specific reason, and they are in the process of ripping holes in time and in space and in the veil. They are allowing and giving the Antichrist a way to come in. All of the elite from all over the world are here celebrating this major event. What it is that they're so excited about, they haven't told us for sure, but I think we already have the answers. We know what they're doing. This is the most creepy thing I think I've ever seen. And yes, I'm an artist. I know what art is. I love unique art. But this is dark. I do enjoy dark art. You can portray a lot of real emotions through art. But this is something that is not just art. People want to say it's just art. This is spiritual, and it's very dark in a spiritual manner, and it involves each and every one of us. All of the big shot elite from all over the world are here, and they are participating in this ritual because they have succeeded. This is a celebration. Soon you will notice that they begin to worship clocks and time. It's because they know that now they have access to move and to create and to change anything and everything that they want, because there are no longer limitations between time and space. They can move time forward and backward, and they can move through time. And no one can stop them, and they know that. No one can stop them other than, of course, the Lord. Sometime I'll take the time to actually go through a full video analysis, but just while we're going through this, notice how with the clock, the clock is being manipulated the whole time it's spinning by man. There are men running through and manipulating and creating time, creating the clock to move. The men on the clock are moving the clock forward and backward. And they always use implications to scripture. It always portrays and goes back to scripture. The trumpets, the fallen angels, the portal, the Antichrist. This is all biblical. They are really good at putting on a show, so it seems like just all costume, fun, and play. But no, there is a very deep, very powerful meaning. There is a message. They speak through signs and symbols. They do not speak with words like we do. They don't even have to speak. They know what signs and symbols to use to tell their people what they're doing. And here they are telling their people that time is run by us. We create time. We move time. We stop time. We move it forward. We move it backward. We can move through our portals. We can go forward and backward in time. We can manipulate anything we want. we already know that they never speak the truth, and they will never disclose anything or acknowledge anything to us, but they speak through signs and symbols. I feel as if this right here is them acknowledging the shape-shifting, the face morphing portrayed in their ritual at Cern. I think it's really important that we analyze this because it looks a lot like the anomalies that we have been seeing on, happen to other people, whether it be celebrities, somebody on the news, a random YouTuber, a guy on a bus that turns into a dinosaur or a reptile. You get it. But I think this is important. They are acknowledging it right here. So to me, that's the best we're gonna get, Anyway, this was all over the place. I apologized. I used the footage I had, on hand while narrating with 4 children. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Please forgive me. I know it was a bit all over the place. I did it spur of the moment with the footage I had on hand, trying to narrate it and put it together while taking care of 4 children. And I've never made a video like this before. So I really, really hope you enjoyed it. There are some really strange things going on, and I've done a lot of soul searching, so I do have a ton of stuff I want to share with you guys. Please let me know what you thought of it. Give me suggestions on videos to do next time, or just tell me what you thought of this one. Please leave comments, subscribe, and I love you guys so much. I am a beauty influencer. You can find me at Beauty Is My Vice on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, you name it. I also wanted to thank each and every one of you that took the time to sit through this and to watch the footage and listen to my thoughts. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I think it is so important that we all express our thoughts and our feelings. The more of us that are able to do this, the more others will feel inspired rather than fearful of putting themselves out there and sharing, because every single one of us has something incredible to offer the world, because we each see and feel things differently. We need to come together and share with one another. I love you, and I can't wait to talk to you guys soon. Have a wonderful day.